Hello and welcome to my beginner's guide for Kingdoms Reborn. I'm Icon and this little video will guide you through the first few steps on how to start the game and how to survive the early phase of the game. So in the single game player mode you don't need to configure around too much with these things. As the early access is as of now, we can just generate the world and get into there. But once we are there, we're already faced with a lot of decisions here. So this whole world is a place where you can set your first town up, and if you struggle with decisions, there are a few things that I might notice. If you're new to the game, the temperate zone here, that whole strip in the middle of the world, has the most friendly climates. The more north you go, the deeper the temperatures, or well, in the southernmost regions it's the same, but there's also the, as far as I've seen, hot weather doesn't really bother your people. It's cold, which is a problem. So things you might want to look out for. Definitely try to fetch some location where iron ore deposits are in the vicinity. You can claim all these tiles while you're playing. You don't need to start right on top of an iron ore deposit or such. You can claim those later. In this scenario, my personal favorite right now seems this area here, where I can also claim gold and iron and coal at the same time. Coal is not that important because you can produce that out of wood too, but iron is absolutely mandatory for your town development later in the game, and without an own deposit you're completely relying on trade, which isn't impossible at all, but it's way more comfy to do it on your own premises. If I would personally play this map here, I would try to play here. While this peninsula is very fertile, we have this desert around us providing iron, gold, coal, gemstones, all manner of luxurious materials where we can do trade with. When you're deciding for a starting tile, always keep in mind there is a certain fertility average. It's way easier to get started with agriculture if you have a certain fertility. And food is one of the most important early game things. So I'll start here because I have a high fertility. I have lots of trees, which are really good too, and water gives me access to an easy income of food as well. So we start here. Now the game asks you if you want to buy some initial resources too. I can always recommend to buy some more wood, because wood is a construction material in the early game and you always will run low on that. Don't spend all your initial money though. You will need a few more pennies to expand in the early game. So I'd say that's pretty good. Let's get started. After confirming, we unlock the bridge because we have water tiles in the vicinity, and we get to place down our town hall. The town hall is the heart of your town, and therefore try to place it down somewhere centralized, or well, due to the fact that your people don't really need to access the town hall for anything, you can also place it down quite remotely however you want it. It's more of an aesthetic choice as of now. So after placing down the town hall, you get to choose two cards. For beginners, I would strongly recommend the trading post card, because this connects you with the world market, and you would need to research that otherwise. If you want to go for agriculture right away, you can also put up the wheat seeds, but for this tutorial I'll take the trading post card, and let's unpause the game until it gives me the next card. Now these cards are always the same as of now. Who knows, maybe the early access will change. And the second card I'd like to pick here are the cabbage seeds. The iron smelter and the productivity book are not really that necessary, but with cabbage seeds I have the ability to build farms, and cabbage has high fertility sensitivity. Because I chose a square which has high fertility, these are ideal. So we use those, and now the game itself begins. In this game there are two types of buildings. Generic buildings, which can be built here, and buildings which need to be built via cards. every season you get a new set of cards which you can shuffle once per day, and these cards are all the available buildings which are unlocked by you right now. You get a random selection of those, as you see here. I got the fishing lodge even double, and yeah, really important cards during the early game are those which are producing wood and food. Preferably those food sources which are permanent. Like fishing is a pretty permanent food source, so we're going to pick up one of those. Pigs as well. They only need a lot of time and space, so we're not going to go for those. I'm going to add up a hunting lodge, because hunting lodges are pretty effective too. So you can buy as many cards as you want to. After submitting here, you would need to redraw another card for 10 pennies, but we don't want to do that. So we got a few buildings we need to build, and next up I need homes. These people are homeless, and you'll build up some houses. If you want to build houses in this vicinity here, you don't see anything. If you press Control T though, the game fades out the trees, and I found that very, very beneficial to begin with. So with the R button you can rotate those buildings, but that's pretty obvious. And whoops, if you hold down the Shift button while placing down houses, it doesn't jump out like you saw there before. To begin with, we're building 5 houses. Oops, there's a locked slot between that. And the yellow line here is the road access. And these houses will always try to get themselves some road access. The fishing lodges need to be built on the coast, obviously, so let's do this. And we're gonna build up some dirt roads over there. The trading post will be set up here too. And let's Control T again and re-enable those trees. And the hunting lodge. As you see here, there's blue shadows around there, depicting where there's animals to be hunted. But we also want to put up farms. So let's Control T again to check out the fertility overlay. Everything green has 100%. Yellow, brighter yellows are a higher fertility, and reddish colors are towards 50, and the real mean red is also desert here, so you won't be building here anyways, or farming. So this little spot here is pretty good for farming, so let's put up a farm here, and there we go. I want to build up another one there. This won't be as efficient as the first one, but that's okay. Let's build up 3 farms for now. I start out with the farms very early because right now we're playing in the spring, and the earlier these farms are built, the earlier we get a first harvest out of that. Alright, so let's fast forward here a bit and wait until our folks are done with building. As you see here, those icons above their heads depict that they're homeless right now. And now, with the building of the first house, we unlock research. Science points are acquired by increasing population, but you can also mouse over here to see where your points are coming from. All of these incomes, by the way. You can also see here what materials you have stored, and here we see we have 18 population and only 4 housing space. A house brings 4 units of housing space, and you also see how many free storage slots you have. I'm going to build up a few extra storage slots, and then we're going to talk about research. Research enables you to bring up new technologies, as you already might have assumed. So the game splits it into eras. I think along the early access this will be more specific, and for now I'm just gonna recommend the early technologies for for herb seeds, because without medicine you start with a pretty generous stockpile. Your people die like flies. Improved wood cutting and other technologies are appealing too, but they are pretty self-explanatory. But the medicinal herb seeds are really, really important. Just believe me how devastating it goes for your town if you have no medicine left. And here's now the trade post. About the trade post, you can always trade only quantities of 180 units per trade, and if you sell, you automatically get the money, and then the building goes into cooldown. So we will buy some food here. And keep in mind, all these goods have dynamic values. So the more you sell, the lower the prices will drop. The more you buy, the higher the prices will go. We're gonna just buy a few coconuts to show you how this works. So we spent the money, and we will receive those goods in 5 minutes, real time. So let's fast forward here a bit until everything's built. As you've seen here, this timer depicts when the new cards will come. I just misinformed you there. You receive 2 new hands per season. I'm sorry. In the mid of season, you receive always a new hand. So next, really important things here are well, fruit gatherers are also pretty good. But they are not the people I wanted to show you. But that's okay. I wouldn't have money anyways. So fruit gatherers here are also a vital backbone of your food production. And it's the same procedure here again. You see that blue circle and you see those blue shadows where fruit is to be found that can be harvested. Alright, so let's fast forward a bit here. As you see here, we're pretty much out of food, and that's very, very scary. So that's why I'm focusing food production during the early game this hard. So the hunting lodge is best placed somewhere in the vicinity of your farms, because the hunters not only hunt animals, they also prevent the animals from eating your crops from the fields, which is pretty scary when that happens. Alright, so there's a new hand. And yeah, here's the forester card, but sadly I don't have the necessary money. The forester is the guy which plants new trees, obviously. And he goes really, really good hand in hand with the fruit gatherer. Because you can plant new trees, especially new fruit trees. And yeah, the fruit gatherers will pick the fruits, and the foresters will cut those trees once they're full. That's a very productive cycle, but sadly I don't have the 140 gold right now to buy the this guy right away. So here we see also how the jobs are deployed. We get a new building which allows you to configure your jobs more precisely, but laborers are basically haulers, and builders, well, it's pretty obvious what builders do. So I'll need more houses here at this point, and as we notice, our living room here is starting to grow quite crammed, so we might want to expand to another tile. So new provinces can be claimed via gold or food. Later in the game you will unlock other methods of claiming provinces too. But here you see new things that you can find there, and also there's a bunch of crates over there. Tiles sometimes have random things that are including there, so searching through the crates we found a rare price, so we can choose something. I'm gonna choose 100 wood, even though the other prices are worth more basically, but you can also decide when to pop these cards. Keep in mind that your hand size is limited. Once the last card fills up this slot, you're not able to pick up new cards. So there we go. And that's basically most of the early game already done here. So we will now need to unlock one more population to finish these quests. These quests always have special rewards, which are somehow related to either the quest or to the progress. So here we get a global slot bonus. Well, none of these are too interesting right now, but I'm going to go pick up the beer tax for now to show you what they're good for. So every building here has upgrades, a readout of course, and yeah, here there are card slots. So if I put that card into here, a global slot card was always for the town hall, which can be upgraded here as well, unlocking even more cards. Let's see, there's the forester I wanted, and With these upgrades, you can specialize your town. Lots of buildings have several slots, and for example, if we would finish this quest here, or this quest here, we would receive cards with which either are for the town hall or even for the trading post, which influence the gameplay around that. So as we notice here, housing is necessary, and here goes the house upgrade menu. That's the last chapter for this tutorial, and then we're done. So the house upgrade unlock system. Houses come in several levels. A house is from begin with level 1 and will upgrade by luxury goods. So here we see what happens if we upgrade houses and so on. This menu confused me at the first glance, but once you understood how it works, it's really easy to read. Here we see which kind of unlocks we receive for houses of level 1 or higher. So we will unlock the wood industry for our 8th house, we will unlock pottery for our 9th house, and so on. And the higher level houses are providing even more interesting bonuses. To upgrade houses, we need luxury goods. The first luxury good you will unlock is the furniture workshop, being triggered by the next house we build. And then you will need to create furniture to upgrade your houses, and these upgrades will unlock even more buildings, which will enable you to build even more luxury goods, and so on and so forth. This gameplay goes all the way up to houses of level 7, and considering that this game was released only 2 or 3 weeks ago, that's already a lot to do. So you can check those out in detail on your own game. And let's continue here. That's another thing. The forester right next to the fruit gatherer has, like I said, these advantages, but I wanted to show how to configure that. Basically, you don't need to configure that. That's the basic setup there. Alright, so this, what we have here, this nasty noise is telling you that you need more storage spaces. And yeah, this is all you need to set up a small town, and I also gave you all the necessary controls to do that. Of course, there's more and more things. We're going to talk about that during an advanced tutorial later, but that's going to be it for this tutorial. So with the 8th house, we unlock the furniture workshop, which will transform wood into furniture and upgrade houses. But like I said, advanced tutorials are to come. Alright, I hope that was helpful for you. If there are still questions or if there's anything you might want to add, drop it down into the comments below. I appreciate your help, and I'd really like if we get some nice knowledge database down there going. So leave a like, leave a subscribe to make this video a little bit more visible and popular. I would be deeply appreciating that, and I hope we're going to see each other soon again for some more tutorials of this game or whatever strategy gaming or whatnot you have found on my channel. See you then. Goodbye.